Hey everyone, I took a short break for vacation and during that time a lot happened. So today we have first video with part of backlog to catch up on. Let's dive straight into Runtime 18.1 with schema evolution, file events, no more select star from table, AI gateway and coding agents, tags for queries, default Python package repositories, supervisor agent, catalogs in DABS, and external location in DABS. So let's start with first update. We can see that Runtime 18.1 is available. It's in beta. It comes with few really amazing improvements. One of it's insert with schema evolution. In that example, I created customer table with some values, and if we want to insert to that table and add additional column, because so far we have only customer ID and customer name, so insert to that column, to that table also record with customer country. So obviously if we do that, then it will fail, yes, because it's schema mismatch, yes, and exactly schema mismatch, and there is no customer country field. But if we add insert with schema evolution, then the new fields are automatically added. What is important is that we need to use that select statement when insert with schema evolution. If we specify fields like this, and for example, write here customer ID, customer name, customer country, then we will get error that that field is not existing. Probably it will be improved soon, but for now just pass it values as in below statement and new field, which is in schema evolution, always go as the last field, and all previous records are filled with null values. It's really nice for data ingestion because you can really easy perform insert, and also one thing which is really nice is if you add here that select star from some table. So, for example, customers old, then all fields from that table will be recreated automatically. So theoretically, you could create almost empty table with no columns and populate all columns from other table this way. Another update related to data runtime is something related to file events. If we are registering now external location, like click external location, especially in UI, we see that by default file events are created, and we have here two options. One is automatic and another provided. You still can create external location without file events, but rather through Databricks asset bundles or Terraform. We'll get back to this later because actually external location were added to Databricks asset bundles as well. But now everything in Databricks is event driven. So we have also trigger on update. It's used by Delta Live pipelines. So the same way, because of that, Autoloader has changed. And now that setting use managed file events is the default setting. So you don't need, in fact, to specify that because by default it will not release directories, but it will use file events from queue to know which files to process. So if you are creating new Autoloader today, you can remove that settings and you will know that it will use managed file events by default. Of course, if you are using external location which doesn't have file events, for example, which is created before or it's created different way, then you can have problems and maybe you need to disable this, yes, because you want to have directory listening. So it's changed from 18.1. So if you are using Autoloader with 18.1 and you don't have file events, then you need to add that option and specify it to false. So it's quite important to know it, because it's affecting the way where, especially for older code, how it will behave in new runtime versions. Another update which is quite nice, probably it's for some time, but I haven't realized that. I think it came with new SQL pipeline syntax, is that you don't need to use select star from table, that you can write table and the name of table. Here is the table branch, and it will automatically use the same syntax as select star, you see? So it selected everything from that table. I tested that limit also is working with that. Unfortunately, if you want to use where or order, you need to use this pipe syntax and pass it this way. But actually, it's much more faster if you want to to preview your data or in SQL editor instead of writing always select star from. So I like it, especially the most simple version if you want to preview the table. Another update is relating to AI gateway. So we have here a new page, yes, new section on the left, and it's looking really nice. So you can register LLM models, even external, in Databricks, and apply on it governance and security, for example, guardrails. You can apply it also for models hosted in Databricks, because all most important models in the world are available natively in Databricks. But what is really amazing is that coding agents. So probably many of you are using now Gemini, Cursor, Codex, but the problem is when you are working with enterprise is that you are sending that requests, yes, that LLM prompts to some other cloud, like for example to OpenAI, ChatGPT, and often you don't want it because you want to monitor what is sent there, because you don't want to leak any enterprise data. And additionally, at least from my experience, in many cases it's blocked and it's not possible to use it. But actually you can use Databricks, yes. Usually when I'm working somewhere, I have remote desktop and I can use Databricks, but cannot use any other tool, yes. And this way you can just host these models in Databricks and, for example, integrate it with your IDE and use Cursor or Codex just by pointing to your Azure Databricks workspace. So it's really amazing solution for developers and also for security and governance in any modern enterprise. Another update is related to tags. So now when we are doing any queries, we can set query tags, and then these tags are registered in query history. Yes? So for example, I'm again using that table syntax, yes, and I'm using here query tags confidential, and I'm passing this to that query. And then later in query history, it will be possible to see that and query by that tag. What is important is that it's not only for SQL editor. You can use this query tags for JDBC. You can specify them even in Power BI, in DBT. So I think it's even more important in these different places than here, because actually when you are using JDBC driver, you can put that query tags in your code, yes. And later when you select, for example, from that system query history table, you can query by that tag and see the queries which were sent. So for example, if you have a lot of Power BI connections, you can specify different tag for every of this connection, and then easy recognize, for example, the name of the external dashboard. So here we have all queries which I sent with that tag, yes, and also here is the new column, of course, yes, that with that query tags. You see that it's here, yes. Of course, you can have more than one tag, yes, but it's a really nice solution. and it's good to know that it's here. Another update is related to default repositories. So if we go to settings, and if we go to compute, here is something which is called default package repositories. So for example, if you have your artifacts war in Azure DevOps, you can specify it here. And now the settings is also applying to Spark declarative pipelines. Yes, so in Spark declarative pipelines, you can use your own Python package repository now. Another update is related to agents. So the Supervisor Agent is now GA. It's a really nice solution because it's creating like one LLM, one chat to rule them all. So for example, you can add here Jenny Space, you can add external MPC server, you can add functions, and then you can redirect prompts, depends what is needed. So for example, if I select here Jenny Space, I will describe the contents, then the Supervisor Agent know when to use like different agent, yes? In that case, for example, when you're asking a question about sale, you can use Jenny Spaces. If you want to maybe generate the report, you use Unity Catalog function, and maybe use some external MCP server with knowledge base of your company rules or some application, so you can connect here and have everything in one place, then in Playground as a model, and you can, for example, deploy it or create own Databricks apps which is using that Supervisor Agent. So it's also a really nice solution. It's really good to see that Databricks the family of agents is growing. Yes, it's more and more are coming. Yes. Now let's switch to Visual Studio Code because we have some update related to Databricks asset bundles. So now it's possible in bundles to specify catalog and locations, external location. What is important is that new functionality is working only with direct mode, which is not yet default mode. If you want to set it as a default, you need to specify it environment variable. Here it's Windows, so I specified this like this. Of course, in Linux or on your Mac, you specify it a different way. But it's important to remember that you need to specify it, or you can migrate existing bundle using migrate command to direct mode. It's also possible. And now in that direct mode, it's possible to figure catalogs. What is important is that by default, it's like managed catalog. So when we are here in account, we need to have this path in Metastore, yes, because here is specified path. Without it, it will not work because that catalog will be created inside that path. Now in new workspaces by default is often empty, so you can also remove it, yes, because you don't need Metastore storage, yes, it's like virtual entity, yes, in fact. But if you don't have this path, it will not work. So remember to specify it here, and then you can deploy that catalog. It's nice that you can also specify grants in your bundle, so you can have grant as a code. And one more thing which is also new is external location. So you can specify external location inside your bundle and register them. So if you create a storage account, you can register them. You need to specify credentials. Credentials are not yet available in Databricks Asset Bundles, but I hope that it's just in a few weeks it will also be available. So then you could link both resources together. Yes, it could be really nice, but it's good that you have this as a asset in Databricks bundles. In fact, that evolution of asset bundles is making Terraform to do things inside Databricks a bit obsolete. Yes, because you can, of course, you need to use Terraform to set your networking or infrastructure outside of the Databricks, but everything which you do in Databricks, I think the approach has to be to use bundles for it and avoid using Terraform. So I'm really happy that it was added. Let's try deploy it. Data, not destroy, deploy, okay. So let's wait for it and we will check. External location is named test location and catalog is named test catalog. So let's go to our workspace, and in catalog, we can see that test catalog is here, and the same with external location. So let's go here, and test external location was also created, so it's working awesome. Of course, before that I created the test storage container for that external location. Okay, so let's run now destroy. And that's all for this video, and in few days I'm going to record another one because there are a lot of new updates in Databricks, like new discover section, new connectors, so we have a lot to talk about, so see you again in few days.